welcome you to New Jersey, where the fans are filing in for the final PBA event of the season, and it's the one every bowler points to at the outset. Welcome to ESPN's live coverage of the 65th Denny's U.S. Open. It is the title in bowling. The first family of the Lanes. Hall of Famer Pete. Father Dick Weber. Both won the U.S. Open a record 4 times.
Been there for a 5-timer.
Pete describes it as the only true test in the sport. A test that has been aced by the game's greatest. Johnny Petraglia in 77. Hall of Famer Don Johnson in 72.
Now you put the tinsel on the package, bud.
In 84, it was Mark Roth's turn. 2 years ago, Tommy Jones took the title. Del Ballard did it in 87. And Chris Barnes won the 60th edition. This is no place for the tentative and timid.
This one means everything. Brother Smith, United States Open champion. Unbelievable. What do you think about that?
Who will make bowling history today? To North Brunswick, New Jersey for the 4th and final major of the season. $100,000 and a 3-year tour exemption go to our winner of the Denny's U.S. Open. And here are the 4 fighting for that title. Reigning Player of the Year winner Doug Kent picked a fine time to make his first TV appearance of the season. He'll face number 3 seed and fellow 3-time major winner Norm Duke. 27-year-old Chris Loschetter sits just 2 wins away from his first ever tour title. And the first title of the season was won by Mika Koivuniemi in Japan. He looks to bookend it with a title today in the final event of the PBA season. We welcome you to our 90 minutes worth of live coverage of the most prestigious and demanding tournament in the sport. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson here with you. And you talk to the pros, you get a sense of fear and also respect for this tournament. Don't expect a big strike show. This is more of a grinded out, fill the frames, get your spares. We begin with number 4 seed Doug Kent, the reigning Player of the Year, who made a dramatic change this week, Randy, just to get to his first TV appearance of the season.
Yeah, in a last-ditch effort to salvage a miserable season for Doug. After practice session, he got rid of all of his 15-pound equipment, went out to the equipment truck and drilled all new 16-pounders. He said, Randy, I've got to change my look. All of a sudden, he started to see some different pin carry, got some confidence, and now he's positioned to win his 4th major.
He has won 3 majors, 2 of them coming last season. It's the USBC Masters in Milwaukee. The first major he won en route to Player of the Year honors. Yeah! And so Kent calling this a redemption-type week. Number 1 seed, Mika Koivuniemi. All he did was win his first 2 tournaments that just happened to be majors, hence the nickname Major Mika. And Major Mika doing some major prowling this week, looking for yet another major title.
Yeah, and he's in the most enviable position in a major, being the top seed, only needing 1 win to capture the title. But, you know, Major Mika loves the tough stuff. Growing up in Europe, he bowled on some pretty nasty lane conditions. The U.S. Open oil pattern, it's right in his wheelhouse.
He won the U.S. Open in 2001. He has 3 majors to his resume as well. Mika standing by with 21-time titleist Carolyn Doran Ballard.
Mika, you started out the year $50,000 win with the Japan Cup. You have the chance to end the year with a $100,000 second U.S. Open championship. How are you feeling about today?
I'm just here to get a new jacket because my wife lost my old jacket for my first U.S. Open. So I got the jacket for the Japan Cup and try to get my second jacket for the year.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
For Mika, it's all about the wardrobe. We take a look at our tournament format. Loaded field of 488, 213 of them amateurs. The average by round, it started with a low of 185 in the round one of qualifying, hit a high of 203 in the final match play of round three. Demanding conditions here at the U.S. Open. And we are set to begin match number one. Duke and Kent, a combined 19-2 in their last 10 televised appearances. This is Doug Kent, your number 4 seed from just up the road in Newark. Great start. Said this was a very frustrating year. Felt he bowled well, but really has gone nowhere. This week, the term he used, redemption for a long season. Regardless what happens today, he's had redemption. And Norm Duke, you could kind of use the same word as well.
Well, for Norm, it's kind of been survival mode all season long. He's been injured. Bowling for his career when he won the World Championships earlier.
Think there's some fans for Norm here today?
Norm's got a pretty strong fan base everywhere he goes. But, you know, the theme for U.S. Opens, as far back as I can remember, is just a grueling, grind-out type of tournament. You know that the lanes are going to be difficult. You know the format's going to be very, very long. So it's a draining tournament.
Takes care of the 10. Spares will be a big part of today's storyline. Take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. And Norm Duke looking for his first U.S. Open title of his Hall of Fame bound career. Should he win it, he'll become the 5th bowler to win PBA's Triple Crown, joining Mike Albee, Billy Hardwick, Johnny Petraglia, who's here today, and Pete Weber. Over the pocket there. So spare strike for Duke.
When you bowl on a tough oil pattern, straighter is always greater. The less amount of boards you try to cover, the more consistent you can be. And coming into this tournament, the players understood that. They knew that 210s, 220s, that's big scores. It's big games in a U.S. Open tournament. You don't need to shoot 240 and 250 every game.
It was a horrendous start this week for Doug Kent. Sat at 256th after day one. Had just one game of 200 or better. Then he started to move up the standings. Went to 42nd on day two with a 219 average. Day three with a 229 average. Had moved himself up to 17th. Right now he's your 4 seed, trying to take care of the spare. And he does.
Well, very interesting that, you know, Doug went from 15 pounds to 16 pounds after practice session and still struggled a little bit in that first round. And, you know, he could have thrown in the towel and said, you know what, this season is a wash. But he hung in there. He persevered. That's why he's a great champion.
The thought of throwing in the towel this week crossed his mind more than once, he was telling us. You know, he said, I got nothing to lose. Let's change to 16 pounds. I'm bowling horrendously. Let's try and mix it up. Strike, spare to start for Kent. Very heavy.
And this is indicative of a U.S. Open pattern. When you miss target left, the ball will not hold its line. And Doug leaves himself with probably the toughest spare on tour, the 3-6-9-10. Got to get the ball to this side of the 3-pin and have enough hook on it to carry that back pin, the 9-pin.
Oh. Those are pickups you need to make to be a U.S. Open titleist. So it goes to Duke, who's had a very emotional and tumultuous week. We'll tell you about that after this roll. Great hit for Norm, whose grandfather, Monk Mattingly, passed away this week at the age of 97. They buried Monk on Norm's 44th birthday on Thursday. So many things going through Norm's mind. He says, you know what, this is not the U.S. Open. It is the Monk Mattingly Open in his eyes right now. Tournament still means a lot, but more of an uplifting thought and image to it for him this week.
3 in a row. Thank you.
Make no mistake about it, throwing 3-baggers on a U.S. Open oil pattern is all about precision and shot making.
We talked about the struggles early on for Kent, but picks it up in match play. Here he is working off an open frame. Come on! Get! Just nuzzled up next to the 10.
Good shot here on a U.S. Open type pattern. You'll take a week 10 anytime, except in a one-game match on television when you need strikes.
Both times on the right lane, he has left the 10 standing to knock it down for a square.
It's interesting. Watch how much deeper he is on the left lane. It looks like Norm's playing both lanes pretty much the same. Doug's quite a bit deeper on the left lane.
What a change of fortunes it's been between the last 2 seasons, but a win today would spike his earnings big time. $100,000 goes to the winner. Kent down 35 as we begin the 5th.
There you go.
Gets back on the strike train.
Again, quite a bit deeper on the left lane. Another great quality shot. Good pin carry. Let's see if Doug can take advantage of that. Let's strike up in the 5th. Right now, Norm Duke working on a 3-bagger.
Had a lot of fans come up to me this morning and say, man, Rob, those conditions are tough. Are we going to get any ham bones today? And I said, lucky if we get one.
That ball's around the 3rd arrow to start. And you notice that it doesn't go that far to the right, maybe just a couple of boards. 3rd arrow to about the 2nd arrow, right back to the pocket.
Here's how Norm spent his week, looking for 5 in a row right now.
Drops the nickel.
Don't shoot me on the reacts, Norm. Get emotional. Get into it, Norm. He bowls with emotion. Welcome you back to ESPN's continuing live coverage of the 65th edition of the Denny's U.S. Open. Norm Duke in match 1 with a 55-pin lead over Doug Kent. The scoring has been challenging all week. Why? Here's Randy Peterson to tell you why.
One of the things that makes the U.S. Open such a unique event is the demanding lane conditions. In fact, this is the toughest oil pattern we'll bowl on all year long. Let me show you why. Now, in a typical house pattern, the outside part of the lane is dry, the middle part of the lane is very slick. So what happens is shots that are wide of target recover and get back to the pocket. If you miss your target to the middle part of the lane, there's enough oil there to have the ball hold its line and still get to the pocket. But here at the U.S. Open, we use a special 40-foot flat pattern. The lane is oiled equally side to side. what ends up happening is the lane turns into what's called a reverse block, where the middle part of the lane is drier than the outside part of the lane. Now shots that are wide of target never recover, and if you miss your target to the inside part of the lane, well, it's usually through the nose or Brooklyn. This is truly a shot maker's condition. Remember, if you want to be a U.S. Open champion, precision is the name of the game.
Thank you, Randy. And a look at our Lumber Liquidators average by round, and they increased for a number of reasons. Number one, you got the amateurs out of the way as well.
Yeah, and again, you look at the fact that Walter Ray is leading the tour in average at 228, and this week, and if you average 200, that was pretty good. So, you know, I like to look at it as the U.S. Open golf, where it takes, you know, +1, +2, +3 to win that event. This week, the rough is up.
The rough is up, it's windy, and there's brutal pin placements. That's your analogy.
Right now, Doug Kent in a world of trouble because his opponent has thrown an unlikely 5-bagger. Right now, Doug still searching for his first double.
All 3 frames in the right lane for Kent have been 10 spares. As we take a look at our edition of the Tonic Edge this week.
The reason why Doug Kent won Player of the Year honors last season is because he changed his timing. He got the ball into the swing earlier, which got his feet moving faster and got him to arrive at the foul line in much better, more stable position. I think that Doug's best asset in his bowling game is the fact that he's able to wait on his swing. Never gets into a hurry or a rush to throw it.
And he was telling us yesterday he feels as good as he's really ever felt his entire life. No aches, no pains outside of his brain. But he was questioning some things, you know, things that weren't working. And things are not exactly working his way right now. Down 56.
Shot but one.
You know, when we interviewed the players last night, Norm looked physically whooped. Mika looked destroyed. But Doug and Chris Loschetter actually looked reasonably fresh.
And we interviewed the players very late last night. They did not get done till around the 10 o'clock hour. It was a long day of bowling. You know, Norm is showing us his right thumb and just saying, it's just pus, man. It's just pus. You know, I'm hanging in there. I'm a train wreck. He looked frazzled. I'm making up words. That's how bad he looks. Here's Duke in the 8th. Yeah, rather picks up the spare in the 7th.
Back in the day when your thumb looked like Norm's, they used to tell you to stick it in a potato. Something about you know, you whittle a hole in the potato and then you jam that potato on your thumb, and I guess there was something about the juice in the potato or something would help shrink or take the swelling out of the thumb. I tried that a couple times and it never worked for me. So I don't know if Norm was out last night shopping for potatoes or not, but he said his thumb was killing him.
We'll have to talk to somebody on the Food Network about that.
Just wait a little longer on the Duke, please.
A little premature Duke from the fans there. And
well, at least he didn't chew him out a la Tiger did a couple days ago. Love seeing that smile on Norm.
When you have a 54-pin lead, this is okay right here, because Norm's just looking at another 9 spare.
Oh, Norman.
That may not hurt him.
Just
this match.
Just lack of concentration there. Doug Kent can strike out and shoot 214. Norm is in the 220s if he marks out 9th and 10th.
It's a time to make up some ground if you're Doug Kent.
Norm forever fidgeting with that thumb hole. Boy, I've never seen anybody change tape. Move that piece of cork around that thumb hole like Norm does.
Missed the head pin.
And there's that shot we talked about wide of target where it will never recover from that spot. And here at the U.S. Open, when you do miss, you pay the price. Instead of getting 8 or 9, something, an easy spare, you leave a washout.
Great pickup. Great pickup.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's probably a little too late for Doug. Now his best is 200 on the nose if he strikes out, but a great conversion here, getting the head pin slide over into the 10.
He said to us last night, give me a 220 on Sunday, and I'll sit on the bench and watch and see if somebody can beat that.
A lot of 9s for Doug this game. Right now, Normandy looking as though he will move on.
Awful lot of shots in the pocket for 2 strikes.
10 pin, 10 pin, 10 pin, 4 pin.
Sixth strike of this match for Duke, and that'll put a wrap on this one. So Storm and Norman will move on to take on the 2 seed, Chris Loschetter.
Has not missed the pocket. 3 10 pins, the rest strikes. Pretty impressive. And Norm makes the lanes look like they're easy. Doug's struggling to shoot 180. Pretty impressive.
Duke won here in 1994, the Brunswick Johnny Petraglia Open. In fact, both that's the first poor shot we've seen today from Duke, but it's not going to hurt him. Norm about to go 3-0 on television this season. Those first 2 wins coming at the Denny's World Championship.
Thank you, Doc.
You think of all the games that were bowled this week, 488 competitors started. We only had 2 300 games for the entire tournament. One by Tommy Jones in the 3rd round, another by Nathan Bohr in the 4th round.
Well below the 4.81 average per tournament, 300 games.
This is painful.
That's a great week, though, for Doug. At least now he can finish the season off on a high note.
All right.
Well, Doug still has one more event to go. He'll be in the Motel 6 Roll
Skills
to Riches.
challenge is over, but I'll give it my best here.
Coming up in Orlando. How about it?
Oh.
Game effort, but not the best of games for Doug Kent. 234 to 160. Time now for our CLR clean sweep. Norm Duke in the 6th, making it 5 strikes in a row. Up next, match number 2, and give you our top 5 stories from the season in the PBA. We welcome you back to North Brunswick, New Jersey, in our continuing coverage of the 65th edition of the Denny's U.S. Open. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Carolyn Doran-Ballard with you. Chris Barnes will be joining us momentarily. Take a look at our Go RVing on the road, and we pack our bags and head for sunshine. Below Orlando, Florida, Colonial Lanes, Sunday, April 13th, 1 Eastern and 2 Eastern on ESPN. It's the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. More coverage, the PBA Skills Challenge. A couple of shows coming your way Sunday, April 13th on ESPN. It's been a fun year with a lot of storylines. Our crack staff has pieced together the top 5 of the season for you. Here they are. We begin with number 5, Robert Smith, showing us the loft at the CLR Windy City Classic.
Yeah, what an impressive performance. The lanes got a little goofy. The only play was getting way in and lofting it over the gutter cap.
Thank you.
Number 4, what can you say?
Well,
Hambone fever has gripped America.
oh, yeah.
Great show by the fans, wonderful shirts and signs throughout the tour.
A little tribute to you.
We thank you, Pete, and probably my favorite sign of the year. Number 3, Norm Duke, an emotional win in Indianapolis.
Here's a guy that was bowling for his career. He was sick. He's been injured all year. But what an unforgettable performance.
He was battling the cut line as well. Norm Duke winning the Denny's World Championship. Number 2, what a season for the rookie, Rhino Page.
In my 27 years out here, I've never seen a performance like this from a rookie.
The big lefty earning exemption for next year. And our number 1 story, Chris Barnes was woeful on TV, but kept making TV shows. A huge loss at the Tournament of Champions, but a big bounce back for Barnes.
Great champions persevere, and Chris Barnes is a great champion. It all comes around sometime.
Ended up winning 2 titles, and those titles enough to propel him to the top of the 2007-2008 Denny's PBA Player of the Year points race. 2 better than Walter Ray Williams Jr. Barnes, for the first time ever, wins the PBA Player of the Year honor. And we're honored to be joined by Chris Barnes live now. And Chris, beginning of the season, the difficulties you had on television, if you look back on it now, was there something that helped you turn things around?
Well, I mean, they're all life experiences, I guess, and sometimes it's not that you fall down, it's that you get back up. I had a lot of people that supported me, both at Columbia and Prozac and sports psychologists, and you just learn from each one. Hopefully you take something from all that bad stuff, otherwise it's useless, and it did finally turn around.
What does this title mean for you?
You know, it's been a goal for 10 years. Basically, not really my rookie year where I was getting my feet wet, but since my second year, I've been in contention. I've been the 2nd or 3rd or 4th best bowler, it seems like, every year. And largely, some of my performances in the one-game matches have held me back. So this year, I cut some good breaks, and it paid off.
Chris, what was the biggest key for you this season, staying so consistent week in and week out?
You know, there's a lot of it's stuff that we work on all the time, is, the versatility and trying to play out and be able to play in and all that. I had new balls this year that hooked a lot more down lane. And it let me keep up with Tommy and those guys when they were playing in. I could still do the things I did from before from the right. And so week in, week out, I had more success.
Chris, great season. Congrats.
Congratulations. Thanks for your time. And we'll tell you coming up why Chris has more than just one vested interest in the outcome of today's tournament. Well, Chris Loschetter seeks his first Denny's PBA Tour title. What better place to break his maiden than here at a major? This is the 4th straight year this venue has hosted the Denny's U.S. Open. And the PBA is proud to announce the launch of its new online video service called Extra Frame. Subscribers have access to exclusive interviews, behind-the-scenes features, and archive telecast subscriptions only $5.95. So head to PBA.com and click on the Extra Frame link to sign up today. As we take a look at our updated Stepladder graphic, and Norm Duke, you are number 3 seed. Moving on, taking care of Doug Kent, 234, 160 in match number 1. And we are set to bowl Duke taking on 2 seed Chris Loschetter, and Randy was able to use his ample amounts of power in this sport to convince Chris Barnes to hang with us a little bit longer. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Ron.
Randy's got pull.
Yeah, absolutely. Got juice in this league, buddy.
has the crowd on his side. Big opening strike. Up now, Chris Loschetter, 27-year-old, 4th year on the tour. This is 5th top 10 finish of the season. His best is 6th. He's done it 3 times this year. 8th on the PBA World Point Rankings list, looking for his first tour title in 75 career events. Heavy on that one. Fortunate there's just one standing.
Chris Loschetter looking to become the 5th player PBA history to win the U.S. Open as his first title. The other 4 players, Paul Moser in 76, Joe Berardi in 79, Del Ballard Jr. in 87, and Robert Smith in 2000.
Loschetter picks that one up. As we take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. Loschetter 3-6 career-wise on television. This is his 2nd TV appearance of the season. 3 times a runner-up in his career as he takes on Norm Duke, seeking his 4th career major.
3 old guys on the show and 1 young guy. You got 3 40-year-olds and a 27-year-old.
Loesch is a great story. He gets better and better every year. He's already a top 10 player, and he seems to be at his best in the majors.
And Chris, when you watch Norm, the way he's playing the pair, looks like he's playing both lanes the same. We saw in the first match, Doug Kent was playing much deeper on the left lane, and it looked as though on that shot there that Chris Loschetter was also further left on the left lane. Why is Norm able to do what he's doing?
It's really just rev rate. Norm's softer through the front of the lane. He's being real clean with it, end over end. His ball's not changing much direction in the first 15 feet.
Another strike.
I mean, would you agree that Norm's making him look pretty easy?
I'm telling you, those first 10 shots that first game were probably as good as anybody bowled the whole entire week.
You know, and it's amazing that you see the youngsters growing up and all they want to do is hook it and hook it more. And then when they come out on tour, they go the other direction. Let's see how much straighter I can throw. And each year you talk to the guys that hook it. I'm trying to get straighter, trying to work on my straight game. Here's a prime example of what a guy can do when he takes a lot of that hand out of the bowling ball and how he can blend that pattern out and make a tough pattern look pretty easy.
A little too much elbow on that one.
Yeah.
He got a little early with the swing and got it out in front of him, and just at the bottom it got away from him. You could see him trying to save it with his hand at the back and trying to get it to go to the right.
Yeah, a good replay of him kind of flinch right as he lets go of it. He knew it was left of target the whole way. The good news is he leaves himself a 3-6 spare conversion instead of, you know, the big 4.
That was key this week.
Randy, you like to say it's all about the Benjamins. This week it's all about the spares. Got to take care of the pickups.
Well, and like Chris said, it was, you know, this week, traditionally the U.S. Open is all about staying clean, avoiding open frames. And, you know, you may not shoot 250s and 260s, but 2 teens, 2 O's, 220s, that's really good in a U.S. Open.
Here's Chris Loschetter, described his season to us as decent. Making this show, it is now a successful season. Big strike for Loschetter. He's telling us how he's really kind of fallen off in the second half of the season the last couple years. Hence why he was calling this season just decent.
This is a great young player. I really love the way that he keeps his hand behind it and really rolls up the back of it. A lot like you do, Chris, and you watch you bowl week in, week out on the show. It really looks like you keep your hand up underneath it and control that change of direction down the lane.
It does that. The one advantage he does have is because he has a lower backswing, he pushes the ball through the front. He's got a flatter swing through the front, and his ball doesn't read the early part of the lane very much at all.
Three-bagger for Loschetter. This the only tournament he thinks about all year. Telling us last night, when I'm practicing, this is the one I think about. And just about every pro pretty much echoing those sentiments. We were talking to Pete Weber last week, Randy, and we had a lengthy conversation with him about this tournament, how important it is to him and how vital it is to the sport.
You see that rangefinder down the lane at about 40 feet. That's the 10th board, and Norm just spliced it in half. Watch this now, the dark board all the way down to the right. That's the 10th board right there. Here comes a little bit of hook. Dead flush perfect.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the key. You'll see all these guys getting it to that rangefinder. If they get it 2 boards to the right of that, they're probably going to miss the head pin or 210. All 4 guys today are going to throw it at what we call throwing it at the 3 pin and not giving it away.
Another strike for Duke. He had 7 in match number 1, 4 already here in our semifinal.
Norman's kind of reacting like he just stole one there.
I think maybe he got that one in just a little bit, but his touch is so good right now, he just makes foul line adjustments. What he used to call in the old days, misses it a little bit, kind of feathers it in there to high flush.
Loschetter doubled in the 10th late last night to leapfrog Duke into 2nd place. Come on, Chris, get excited with me.
I like him better from that side.
Show me those signs, Jersey.
That double last night wasn't just a double either. He was clean through the whole game, had no doubles, and then stepped up and threw in the 10th and the 11th to move from the first match to this match, which I think is a huge advantage for somebody with his rev rate.
51st game of the tournament. Couldn't come at a better time. Loschetter looking to take a 22-pin lead.
For Loschetter as we head to break, and Lochetter's parents here to support him. We'll tell you why Chris asked for them to attend this week's tournament when we return to Jersey. Their son's bowling good. Welcome back to Jersey, and those fans upgraded to the Aaron's Dream seats, and right now in match number 2, our semifinal, they are seeing an awesome outing from Chris Loschetter. After an opening spare, it has been nothing but strikes for the young man looking for his first ever tour title. The pressure now squarely on the vet, Norm Duke. Duke 7 strikes for a 234 in match number 1. There's his strike percentage this week, and today the numbers jacked up.
Tase me, bro! Just when he could use it most, watch the head pin come across and take out the 10.
Great replay.
It's commercial right now.
The deficit at 12. Duke looking for 4 in a row.
That's on, still here.
He's got some kind of mojo going with that carry.
The pins seem to know when you're getting really nice to it and really clean with it at the bottom. When you're pure, they get out of the way.
Boy, he has used that TV timeout wonderfully. Now Loschetter looking for his first ever tour title. His lead has suddenly been shaved to 2 as he begins his 7th. Well, we talked, guys, early on about how challenging these lanes were. Have low expectations for strikes. We've already seen a couple ham bones. Why are we seeing better scores and more strikes than we anticipated?
Well, like Randy was talking about earlier, the guys all in practice played them together, didn't give the 3-pin away very much, and so they broke them down similarly. And now that they don't have to move pairs, which is so difficult all week, the first 4 frames are lost every game trying to get lined up. These guys are taking advantage of it. I'm always amazed at how good they bowl on TV on this show when the scores are so low and the lanes are so hard during the week.
We begin the 8th. Loschetter's lead at 1 pin here in the semis of the U.S. Open.
Heavy, but got away with it. His 6th strike of the match.
Chris, you know, the other thing that I see is the guys are programmed all week long to thread the needle. In practice, they break the lanes down, and all of a sudden there's a little bit more room. But to them, to guys that have been there and have bowled on that really tough oil pattern all week long, a little bit all of a sudden looks like a lot.
Well, you know how it is, too. You've bowled great in a lot of majors, and when you have 1 and it becomes 2, it looks like 4.
It's a bad mammal right there. He's got some serious carry going on.
There's just a different look about Norm when he gets it going. Even early in the week, you could see it. He's just posting up shot after shot. They're getting hard. Everybody else's scores are all over the place, and he just keeps finding a way to shoot 2-0, 210, 220, and then he catches a big one somewhere and runs away from you.
Duke with a 234 in match 1 had 7 strikes, has 7 strikes already here in match 2. We begin the 9th.
One more strike in the 10th frame, and he'll seal the deal of being the 270s. Excuse me. 2 strikes in the 10th. He'll be in the 270s. Chris Loschetter, the best he can shoot, 269. So it's going to come down to the 10th frame. And like Doug Kent said, this tournament is all about who has the guts and who has the heart.
Good thing for Loschetter, he has some fan support with him this week. We'll tell you about that in just a second.
Big strike from Loschetter. And he was telling us this week his parents from Melbourne, Florida, Chris and Mary, flew up this week. He had him come up. He asked me, he said, you know, every time I make match play, I have nobody rooting for me. I need some back-end. So he had a premonition, got the parents to come on up. There's Chris and Mary cheering on their son, who is in a battle with Norm Duke right now. We begin the 10th. Loschetter down 9, looking for 3 in a row.
See ya. There's that out-of-bounds zone that we talked about. And Chris Loschetter, at the worst possible time, found it.
The shot's really not even that far right, but they're so hard. It missed the early hook in the front of the lane, and once it breaks loose at 20 feet, no chance of recovery down the lane.
Come on.
Great pickup. That was borderline mandatory.
Yeah, that's going to keep Duke honest in the 10th frame and make him mark.
And as you talked about earlier, Randy, the misses darn 9 very often. Norm will have to throw his best shot now in the 10th frame.
Come on.
When Duke steps up, he'll be looking for 7 strikes in a row. Here's Loschetter.
Just misses the 10. Great outing from Loschetter. A 245. That's your high for the day. Can Duke top it?
Nine miss. We have a tie. Needs a mark. Nobody rides for free here at the U.S. Open. You have to earn it. For Duke coming up. Boy, was that one feathered nicely. Chris, Norm's playing right of Loschetter. He played right of Doug Kent. And I'm guessing that Mika's going to be left of Norm. How much longer can Norm stay where he's at and still have that look?
I got really lucky, buddy.
It is really all about getting through the front of the lane. And he's so clean right now that I don't think he's going to have to move a whole lot. Mika, however, won't be as far left as the other 2 guys. He may be using a little bit of Norm's line.
Amazing performance
He's so in touch with his game. You watch his hand at the end of that first one, the 10th. He knew it was inside. His hand went directly to the right, saved it, ferreted it right in there to flush. Amazing.
Duke closing in.
Look at that, what I did. I'm sorry about that.
On his second major of the season. 267 to 245. He keeps getting better today. Chris Barnes, reigning, I can now say reigning player of the year, can I? Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And when we return, a flashback to the 93 U.S. Open and a look forward to #1 seed Mika Koivuniemi's effort for his third career major when we check back in to Jersey in our coverage of the 65th Denny's U.S. Open. Big names have won this tournament in the past. Del Ballard Jr. on that list in 1993 when he took down Walter Ray Williams Jr. for the U.S. Open title.
Again, we're seeing that inside play at a U.S. Open.
And we welcome you back to our continuing coverage of the 65th Denny's U.S. Open. Our final is set. It'll be 3-seed Norm Duke taking on the #1 seed Mika Koivuniemi for the title this year. So we just show you a flashback of Del Ballard. How about we check in with Del's wife, Carolyn Doran Ballard.
Hey, I remember that guy. He's a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. Great bowler, Del Ballard, my husband. I'm standing here with Debbie Atkins, Director of Public Relations for Denny's. Do you have any favorites out there today, Debbie?
Oh, we believe all of the players on the Denny's PBA Tour are just great. Of course, our Denny's team is, a favorite for us, and Walter Ray has even given me some tips, so go Deadeye.
How about the high school bowling? Denny's, great sponsor of the high school bowlers.
It's a special privilege for us to have some talented young bowlers here with us this weekend, competing in the second Denny's All-American High School Championships. And Denny's is so proud to sponsor the PBA Tour and support the growth of bowling as America's top recreational sport. We're grateful to the PBA, to the professional bowling community, and to all the bowling fans for embracing Denny's and for allowing us to be part of this wonderful sport.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you to Denny's.
Thank you, ladies, and make sure to catch the opening night of Major League Baseball tonight on ESPN. The Braves take on National League East rival Washington in the first ever game at Nationals Park. Opening night baseball built by the Home Depot on ESPN tonight at 8 Eastern. When we return, our title match and why Mika Koivuniemi, the semi-blonde ambition look. Look, this is fresh video from the parlor in Chris Barnes' hotel room. This is good TV, people. Welcome back to Brunswick Zone Carolier, the 36th Denny's PBA Tour event held in New Jersey in the 15th year at this bowling center. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Carolyn Doran Ballard with you as we get set for our final. But first, Randy, our Geico Championship recap.
You know, I saved 15% of my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Wise move.
Match #1, Norm Duke defeated Doug Kent by the score of 234 to 160. A five-bagger in the middle of the match took down Doug Kent. And in match #2, Norm Duke defeated Chris Loschetter by the score of 267 to 245. Loschetter opened the door in the 10th. Duke slammed it shut.
Duke 7 strikes in match #1. Up that total to 9 strikes in the second match. And we are set for our title match. Duke will bat leadoff from Claremont, Florida. Turned 44 this week. That's something new from him today.
A little wide of target. You know, Norm is being real nice to it at the bottom of the swing, a term that Chris Barnes likes to use, nice to it, not doing a whole lot with his hand to get that ball to push through the front part of the lane, and that one was just a little wide of target.
2-4-5.
And Norm, one of the few players that doesn't switch to a spare ball, a plastic spare ball to shoot his spares. He does it with his hand. He uses the same ball that he throws at strikes. He keeps his hand right behind the bowling ball to make sure that it rolls end over end, and there's not a lot of change of direction. He likes the feel of staying with that same ball that he uses on a strike ball.
There is Major Mika, the big Finn, 6'4". Born and raised in Finland, lives in Michigan now. Through the nose.
Ball speed.
We showed you the loft of Robert Smith earlier in the show from earlier in the season. And the big Finn with some loft of his own.
And that loft works real well on tough oil patterns. It clears the front part of the lane. It doesn't hook early. His ball doesn't read the front part. And this was a style that was developed many years ago, bowling on dry, tough oil patterns in Europe.
So both pick up their spares as we take a look at today's Motel 6 matchup. This is the third televised meeting between Mika and Duke. All of them have been for titles. Both times, the match decided by 3 pins. Norm Duke victorious in both of those outings over Koivuniemi.
It's close.
Mika playing the deep inside line. He said he played fourth arrow and left of fourth arrow all week long, never ventured right of the middle arrow.
You look at the dome of Mika, and a little lighter than we're used to. Part of a bet, and payback was this morning. We'll tell you about that in a second. Mika and Chris Barnes are roommates, and they were set to face off against one another in Columbus, Ohio, and they basically said, loser leaves town blonde and with a shorter haircut. So payback was this morning in the hotel room. There's Barnes slicking back Mika and doing the die job. Not a good job, and I'm not sure he deserved a tip.
You know, it's illegal in a lot of states, just so you know.
Duke gets back on the strike train.
Track, please, on lane 7.
You know, my years on the tour, my roommates and I, we did a lot of crazy things, but that wasn't one of them.
I mean, that is not a Player of the Year worthy die job by Chris Barnes. I don't know what color that is or what they're going for or what. I mean, let me tell you, Mika's wife right now, Lena, is just shaking her head.
Ah, dang it.
Well, he wanted that one, too, to get out to an early lead. Pretty good shot here. Norm is eking a little bit into the middle part of the lane. Still a lot further right than Mika. And he wanted that one.
So strike, or rather spare, strike, spare for Duke here in the final.
I think Chris Barnes brought up a great point about the touch that Norm Duke has at the bottom of the swing and be able to really finesse that bowling ball through the front part of the lane and play that much further right than all the other guys.
Again, we met with our 4 bowlers late last night, and the 2 that are left standing are the 2 that look like they're about ready to fall down on the floor and go to sleep in our meeting room. Duke and Mika looked beat up last night, but here they are bowling for the U.S. Open title.
All right, the nerves are gone. He got a couple of shots out of the way, and there's his first strike of the match. Big wingspan on Mika. Helps him to create that loft. This guy is tough as nails. Loves the tough, brutal grind-out conditions.
We asked him to describe those lanes. One word repeated 3 times. Tough, tough, tough.
Gets the hook, gets the strike. And gets the lead. It's at 9. Mika won this tournament as the top seed in 2001. Can he do it again 7 years later? The conclusion of the Denny's U.S. Open when we return. Welcome back to New Jersey. Our thanks to Warren Hardy, the president of Brunswick Bowling, here in attendance for the 65th edition of the Denny's U.S. Open. And Mika Koivuniemi with strikes in the 3rd and the 4th. Now on top by 9 pins over Norm Duke. Duke has stormed through this tournament today as Mika continues to visualize and continues to fan off that thumb. Here's Duke, a 234 in match 1. Upped it to a 267 in match 2. Had 9 strikes in that one. There's his second strike of the final.
2 of the toughest competitors on the Denny's PBA Tour. These guys are mentally tough as nails. Norm Duke looking for the only major that he hasn't won in the U.S. That's the U.S. Open, and adding his name to the list of Triple Crown winners.
Billy Hardwick, Johnny Petraglia, Pete Weber, the others to have won the Triple Crown.
And Mike Albee.
And Mike Albee. Deuce for the Duke. And he's starting to get that rhythm and that mojo back that we saw in our first 2 matches. Struggled a little bit to open up this match.
For the other 486 competitors that bowled this event that are watching, they know exactly how great these 2 players are and what they're doing today on this tough, brutal U.S. Open oil pattern.
Here's the 03-04 Player of the Year. Trying to end a 4-match TV losing streak. Through the nose again.
Loft, don't hit it.
Inside of target, watch this. About the 13th board. He needs to be a little bit closer to the dark rangefinder down the lane at 40 feet around the 10th board to have a chance of hitting the pocket. Remember, not a lot of hold area oil to hold that ball on line. No gimmies.
Mika won the 2000 Masters, and the next year he took the U.S. Open for his 2 majors, 8 career tour titles for the Big Fin. He's actually the money leader this season. As we take a Flomax update look at Mika Koivuniemi, 4th on the PBA World Point Rankings list. This is 9th top 10 finish of the season and his 3rd top 5 in the last 4 events. Gets his 3rd strike of the title match.
And Mika, the only player on the telecast today using 15 pounds. Can you translate that, Rob?
No, not even close. I'm too distracted by the hair. Here's Norm Duke. Has had more did not bowls this season than top 10 finishes. Just missing the 10. 6 DNBs, 4 top 10 finishes.
Watch this great shot by the future Hall of Famer. 6-pin goes around the 10. Norm was all over that shot, looking to take a nice lead. With a spare here, he'll lead by 2.
Norm talking conditioning to us last night as well, talking about the injuries and the sickness that he's battled all season long. And talking to him last night, he said, man, it's just about cramp management right now. I need my water, I need my bananas. I'm backing off the coffee to keep the jitters down and the cramping low. And you know, so it's a war of attrition out here at the U.S. Open.
It really is. And Norm right now is just running on pure adrenaline. This is the one tournament that he covets more than anything
in the bowling world.
Big strike for Mr. Duke, and Carolyn Doran-Ballard is just a few feet away from our two competitors down there. And Carolyn, what are you seeing?
I'm seeing that these two bowlers are in first and second right now because they're that good. I talked to Norm before the tournament, and he said, I'm sticking to my game plan. If I get into trouble, I'm going to move right, throw it harder. That's what he's doing. He's slowly inching his way, but still keeping up his ball speed. Mika played in all week, changed balls to a ball that gets down the lane a little bit further, and it's working.
Back-to-back jacks for Mika.
Bartender making a double.
This is some good stuff we've got going on here. The seesaw battle back and forth. And again, it's just a battle of wills. You have no idea how difficult it is to get your body to perform under this type of pressure. The pressure of winning a U.S. Open, the tough, demanding lane conditions.
Through 7 frames, both are finalists with 4 strikes. Mika's been able to pair him up, though, twice.
Wasn't that far off, just a pinch high. Mika leaves the 4-pin. He's like, where's the trip 4 when you need it? Notice that ball was a little bit closer to the rangefinder down the lane. With a spare, Mika will maintain a 7-pin lead going into the 8th frame.
Now Duke steps up in the 8th. A win today, and he'll become the 7th bowler in history to win 2 majors in a season. A win, and he'll break a tie with Mike Albee for 6th most all-time wins. It would be his 28th career tour title.
What a battle. Back and forth. If you were to ask Norm Duke, Norm, would you give up your 27 titles for one U.S. Open title? I bet he'd do it in a heartbeat.
The only major he has not won the 94 Tournament of Champions, won the 2000 National Championship, and this season won the World Championship in Indianapolis.
And with that hit, he retook the lead and can increase it to 13. The strike up here in the foundation frame, 9th frame.
Looking for 3 in a row is Duke.
Finding 3. That may be the biggest shot of the week because he knows that he cannot be shut out now no matter what Mika does in the 9th and 10th frame.
Let's listen to him real time. Let's see how Mika can handle the pressure now. Down 13 as he opens up his effort in the foundation frame. This coming off a spare in the 8th. Punches him down.
Three in the 10th, Mika shoots 236. Norm Duke is in the 220s right now, but Norm can strike out to shoot 249. The U.S. Open is coming down to the 10th frame.
It's the way it should be.
Just a little wide of target, just a pinch too fast, and Mika leaves the 2-pin. Watch this. Watch the rangefinder down the lane. Remember, he was just a little bit left of that the frame before and left a 4-pin. The spare here, he'll be in the 2 teens. Norm Duke will need just a mark and good count to win his first ever United States Open.
So Mika takes care of the spare.
One more toss for him in this edition of the Denny's U.S. Open.
Duke needing just a mark. Nine miss will tie. Norm looking to add his name to a list of greats that have won this event before him. Guys like Don Carter, Dick Weber, Don Johnson, Johnny Petraglia, Nelson Burton Jr., Marshall Holman.
A ham bone for the title. Oh, boy.
Leaves the bucket.
Holy cow.
That's what pressure can do to you. He must convert to win.
Spare to win. Spare to win. Come on, baby. Told you for a reason.
You see that hand kind of fan to the left? He missed it just a little bit off his hand and gets 6. Covers it perfectly.
Not done yet, but oh so close. Keep it clean, knock down some pins. You've got your title. He asked for a re-rack.
Oh, wait. No.
He changes his mind. He had already asked for 2 re-racks, so he will not get it.
Stay behind the foul line. It's his only thought. Right at the headpin.
Just needs 2 for the title.
The Duke is your champion. Great birthday week for Norm Duke. And the Triple Crown is yours.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah, that's the Monk Mattingly Open right here. Told you, Mount Pleasant, I love you.
Referring to his late grandfather, Monk Mattingly, who passed away this week at the age of 97. Here's his last shot. That huge bucket pickup.
Hey, I love on this, Harvey. Just love on that, Harvey.
In the 10th. The Wee one with a huge celebration. Title number 28 and his 4th major. We'll hear from our champion, Norm Duke, when our coverage of the Denny's U.S. Open on ESPN returns. History in New Jersey, the one major that has eluded future Hall of Famer Norm Duke can no longer run it high. The CLR clean sweep, kicking the bucket in the 10th. Big-time shot from a big-time player, our winner, standing by downstairs with Carolyn.
Norm, you truly are one of the greatest players I have ever seen throw a bowling ball, and you are now officially a Triple Crown winner. How do you feel right now?
You know, I said it just a minute ago. This is an awesome feeling. And I don't even know how awesome it is yet. Because, you know, it's been a long time waiting to be here, you know, since I needed a strike to beat Robert Smith one year. And I didn't, and I lost by a pin. And I've thrown that shot for the last 15 years 100 times, and I never made it. And then to leave that bucket, I just knew. I said, you did it again, you know. So I thought it was going to be more years to wait. But
you're choking me up. You know, and it's an emotional week for you. You all right? Your grandfather?
Yeah, you know, he had a great, great life. He's 97 years old, and he was our rock. And we were so happy for him in his life. He just set us up all wonderfully.
Great. Congratulations again, Norm.
Thank you very much, Carolyn.
Congratulations, Norm Duke. Make sure to join us Sunday, April 13th for our coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Norm Duke, the 5th in PBA history to complete the Triple Crown with a win today in the U.S. Open. For Randy Peterson, Carolyn Doran-Ballard, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Rob Stone. Again, Motel 6 Roll to the Riches coming your way in a few days. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Congratulations to Norm Duke, your winner of the U.S. Open.